In this lesson, the students continued working on their cause-effect essays. Most students had already developed a first draft, but to help them improve the flow of their sentence structures to indicate causes and effects, I decided to create a lesson on transitional words. Therefore, the goal of this lesson was for students to increase their awareness of different phrases that introduce a cause and effect, as well as to incorporate these signal words into their writings to improve the flow of their ideas.
Signal words for cause. So who can tell me again, what is the cause? What is the cause?
Reason.
A reason, right? A reason why something happens. So we have different words that we can use in our essays to show that there is a cause. For example, we have for, but for is not a preposition in that sense. It's more used for the word because. So let me show you an example. To the chart. To result from is another signal word we can use. And I want you to carefully look. Is this phrase a word or a noun? Result from. It's a noun or is it a word? I want you to carefully look at the structure. The what? A word? Is it a noun or a verb? Verb? What? You verb too? Right? Yes, it is a verb because we have to result from. So when we use to result from to show a cause, make sure that we change it for the tenses. So for example, what was right here, the bison's new extinction resulted from overhunting. So this just shows that you cannot just use result. You need to change the verb and use it for different tenses. So in what tense is this sentence written in? Past, right? And if we want to change it, or if we want to write it in simple present, what do we do? How can we write it? Structure. So when we use thereby to show an effect, if you show the overall effect with thereby, just make sure you have your signal word, but then you have your word, and then add the present participle to it.
Although my PowerPoint was visually appealing and I kept it interactive by asking students questions, I was not very satisfied with my teaching. I felt a lot of pressure to cover tons of information about signal words within a short amount of time. Because of that, I fell into the old habit of lecturing and I designed follow-up activities that were not as engaging as I wanted them to be.
Okay, let's practice. Let's identify some signal words real quickly. Alright, so what signal word do we have?
Thus.
Thus. What does thus show? Cause or effect?
Effect.
Effect? Effect? Good. Alright.
Based on my students' low participation rates, I learned that no matter how much time I have in the classroom, quality teaching always beats quantity. To help me improve with the design of my lesson, I would change my presentation to a more student-oriented approach. For example, before I would show the PowerPoint, I would give each student a note card with a transitioning word on it and have the students physically organize and sort the signal words into two categories, cause and or effect. Afterwards, I would discuss with the students their answer choices and present the PowerPoint to review the transitioning phrases. In the second part of the lesson, I asked the students to read and revise the sentences of the first drafts by using the transitioning words that we just covered in class. During this time, I walked around the classroom to help students revise their sentences and drafts. At that moment, I really enjoyed teaching because I saw my students progress as writers, and I was relieved because they were able to edit their sentences with the appropriate signal words without any difficulties. However, my students also experienced different challenges when they were writing the first drafts other than their transitioning words. By walking around the classroom, I was able to provide each student the attention and help they needed, especially with my weaker writers. This was a very rewarding experience because it allowed me to successfully differentiate instruction and maintain control over the class. From a previous evaluation, this was a skill that I needed to improve on, which I accomplished in this lesson.
That is your example. So over time, expressive formalities, they become weaker and they are what? More likely to get what? Do they come back? Do you see this, right? What? And then they die? Okay. So from us, they become weaker. Okay, so you can list, since because of the exposure, like the lung exposure from us, they become weaker. Catch diseases, comma, because we're listing, right? And then what? And death. Like what is happening to the population of gorillas?
Well, the population of gorillas unknown.
Unknown, yeah. But what is happening to them?
They are endangered.
Endangered, right? So when they're endangered, what happens? Or are they're going down, right? Why?
Because of the habitat loss, the loss of habitat and degradation.
Okay, so you know how. So let's see.
Gorillas. Is going down.
So if you want to use, if you don't,
Something more
formal, right?
Yeah.
So what you can do, go on Mozilla, and then you can go onto, it's called, let me type it up. I use it a lot when I write. So you can go on the thesaurus. So you said going down, right? A different word for going down. So you just search synonyms and similars. And right here, it gives you suggestions. Like, okay, well, going down to go down, and what different words can you use? You know, like decline, sink. I wouldn't use sink. You have to also be careful how. So you can say decline, decrease, reducing, collapsing.
Is decreasing? Is decreasing?
And then you can.
Because of.
Or if you don't like because of, we can also use due to, as a result of.
I concluded the lesson with a quick minute debrief by asking students to think of different signal words that have similar meanings to because of and therefore, and share their answers with the whole class. Afterwards, I dismissed the students and they were free to go. However, to reinforce the content, the students had to continue revising the first drafts and submit it to Blackboard so that they could receive feedback from their teacher. After the students received their feedback, the students started on their second drafts, and I continued working with the students on a one-to-one basis to improve their writings. Overall, I'm very proud of myself because in the past several weeks in this internship, I have learned a lot about myself as a teacher at the post-secondary educational level. Although it is still a work in progress for me to become the ESL teacher I want to be, teaching is a constant learning process that I need to reflect on. When I keep reflecting on my teaching, I know that I will be able to achieve my goals as a future ESL instructor.